woke up 5 minutes ago.
No, no,
Literally.
that's okay, man. That's okay.
I'm a little beat up from my trip to the UK.
Okay.
Much in my backyard. So
Okay.
where are you?
I'm in Valencia, Spain, and Eduardo is in Madrid.
I'm in Madrid.
Marcelo en Valencia y
Eduardo. Sí, muy bien.
Dos brasileiros o españoles.
Sí.
Brasileiros.
Sí.
De Sao Paulo.
São Paulo. You play in São Paulo once.
I have played before, yeah.
Yeah, with that Dave.
With that Daisies, I played there with let me see, with Dolores O'Riordan from the Cranberries.
Oh yeah.
I played with I've done a few gigs. Let me find it better. Are you recording now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So let me find. It's really hot outside. Really, really hot. This is going to be better.
It's hot here too, man.
Okay, this is better.
Sure.
So let's go, guys.
How are you, man?
Oh, much better.
So,
yeah, go ahead, man.
Oh, so first of all, we would like to thank you, man, for this interview. Thank a lot.
My pleasure. I always try to accommodate journalists, because you keep us connected to the fans out there, and you keep us relevant, and you keep us up to date on what's going on. How we're big or small, it doesn't make a difference now because social media.
Okay, sure.
So it's become a reality, and I enjoy doing it. I just wish I was awake, but I'll do my best.
Okay, man.
Thank you so much. And to start,
Obrigado.
Obrigado. Do you know how to speak some words in Portuguese, right?
Poco. Hablo español.
Yeah.
Sí.
En español. Entonces.
Sí, que es similar.
Muy similar.
Sí, that's right. So we would like to start asking you about your solo album and your new solo album, Viva La Rock. That I need to say it's a great album, and you sing very well. So
thank you so much. Obrigado. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Can you tell us a little bit?
This is my third solo album. What's going on, guys, is I'm making an effort right now. I'm doing everything I can possibly do to let people know that I have a solo career, that I am a singer, and that I write songs, and I'm a songwriter, and co-produce and produce, and I do a little bit of everything, because after so many years of playing with so many big bands that became priority number one, you kind of get lost in the shuffle. So when I started booking my shows, maybe let's say 4 years ago, the promoters would ask, well, okay, so who's going to sing and who's going to play guitar? And are you going to play instrumentals? Is it going to be a jazz thing? Is it going to be a fusion thing? So I had to kind of explain myself. No.
Loud.
You're out. Yes, your audio is cut.
Yeah, I just turned the phone off.
Okay.
Sorry, what happened is I had to start explaining myself. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Live for Tomorrow came out, I don't know, 9 years ago now.
Okay.
10 years ago, maybe. My second album, Casa Mendoza, came out 4 years later. And this is my latest. But I have to say I'm really proud of this one. Because it's a strong album, which the songwriting has become stronger. It's very focused. And working with my friend Soren Anderson, who is now Glenn Hughes' guitar player, I introduced them. It's just a pleasure, man. He's such a talented cat. So him and I have this synergy that just clicks. Him and I get together and we start writing like that. It's like there's a lot of mutual respect, but also the fact that he was my guitar player with my solo projects for a while. He knows my parameters. He knows where I live musically and what I can do and where I can, I can go out a little bit here, a little bit there. So he kind of respects that and supports that. And it's just a matter of time, man. And we come out with some fun music, So we did this whole album in 12 days.
Whoa.
What?
For the past 5 years, I've been really extremely busy with the Dead Daisies, as you well know, which is another amazing band.
Amazing. Amazing.
We have so much fun. And the guys, I just saw John Karabi last night. And, and the players that have gone through, the collective, they call it a collective. We call it a collective because people have been in and out. And so there's the alumni now, the list of alumni, Dead Daisies alumni is pretty impressive,
Yes, that's true.
With the likes of, the first singer, John Stevens, who's an amazing singer, man. I hope I get to work with him again. Just talent, amazing cat. Great guy, good friend, all of that. And then you have Dizzy Reed, that went through the band, and Richard Fortas, the founder, of course, David Lowy, and myself. We were there for quite a while. Drummers, Frank Ferrer from Guns N' Roses, Brian Tichy,
Brian Tichy is amazing.
And now Dean Casanova,
Yes.
We know.
As a bass player, it doesn't get any better. I'm in heaven, playing with these cats.
It's one of the questions that I would like to do for you. You play with amazing drummers.
Yeah.
It's easy for you.
I've been so lucky in that regard, But so anyway, the Dead Daisies started taking all my focus. I made it priority number one, and for 5.5 years now, we did a lot of work, some amazing work, amazing albums, with Revolucion. Oh, we did an EP before, The Face I Love, and then we did Revolucion, Make Some Noise.
Make Some Noise.
And Live and Louder, and then the last one. I'm like blanking on so much work. We did so much that the energy got focused there. My point is, 2 or 3 years ago, I started getting calls from labels. There's 3 or 4 labels started calling and saying, "Marco, when are you going to do your next solo album? We would like to support you in doing your solo album. We love what you do and all that." And it came down to me having this meeting with Michael Anderson from Target, Mighty Music out of Copenhagen, Denmark. And him and I hit it off. He's like us. He's a musician. He respects and loves and supports the artists, which is something that's very unusual in this business sometimes. So he said the right things. We came to a right agreement, and I said, "Yeah, let's try and do it. Let's find the time to go in." This is in 2017. So it was one of the busiest years with the Dead Daisies. So we finished September 4th. We were in Sturgis.
Yeah.
We played at Sturgis. On the 5th, I fly home. I'm not kidding you. I dropped the bags. I repacked. September 5th, I fly to Copenhagen. I get there on the 6th. I drop my bag off in the hotel, go straight to the studio. And Soren and I came up with the first song that was written was Viva La Rock.
Which is great. Yeah, it's great. It's a great song.
Obrigado. Because I wanted to, thank you. Because it's a song it's a saying that I've been saying to all my friends. Instead of saying long live rock and roll, being Latino and Mexicano and Espanol and Americano, I wanted to kind of cover all bases, if you would. It's not Spanish, it's not French, it's Viva La Rock,
Viva La Rock.
The only thing that we changed was, the E to an A to make it Mexicano, Espanol. So long live rock and roll, brother. See you later. Goodbye. Long live rock and roll. How are you? You know, that was something that was coming out of my mouth every so often. And a year before, I said, you know, that would be a good title. Like in English, you would say, long live rock and roll, for example. So the riff came up. It's like a horn section, you know. And Soren said, let's go, man. Boom. And we recorded. We put the drum machine, and boom, the song was done in an hour and a half, couple hours. So I got goosebumps. Yeah, I got chills every time it's amazing when something like that happens. So we did the vocal, we did the whole thing, and we sent it to the label.
Yeah.
And they freaked out. They got it. This is why it's cool to do this digital thing, you know. And in the old days, it used to take weeks to respond, and now it's instant. Michael, hey, are you around? Yeah. We want to send you the first song. Are you shitting me? Are you kidding? Yeah. First song, it's ready. You want to hear it? Yes, of course. We'll send it. He showed it to his marketing and his creative department and all that. They freaked out. They said, this is the title track. Let's go with Viva La Rock. This is da. And it started going. I'm still getting chills. So my point was, so I get there on the 6th. On the 19th, I had a flight scheduled from Copenhagen to Cologne, Germany, to start my tour.
Yeah.
I had like 25 days. So that's when we did the album.
What?
So you do it. It's 13 days, 12 days.
Yeah.
And so the energy between Soren and myself was so strong that we got together every day. We got together. We came up with another song, a song and a half. We would start another song, come in the next day and finish. And it was just great, man. The whole experience. It was like being very, very young again, and full of energy and excited about music, and just him and I in the room, just like a couple of kids, man. It was great. We're gonna repeat that. We're scheduling everything for October to do the second album, the next album. Yeah. So I wanted you guys. I know you called me to talk about my career and the Dead Daisies and all that, but how I started telling you now, I'm on a campaign. I'm on a mission. My mission is to let people know, to let the world know that I sing and that I've got something to say. I'm a front man. I'm a bass player. I'm a songwriter. I play a little bit of guitar, a little piano. And I love music and I love what I do. And I'm going to make it a priority this coming, you know, the rest of this year and next year, to get out there and hopefully make it down to Brazil and Argentina.
Yeah. I would ask you about that. If there is any chance that you can come to Brazil.
Go to Brazil.
I would love, if it were up to me, guys, honestly, I would be right there. I would schedule something now. But there's a lot of logistics. There's the financial situation.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't just invite yourself, call the venue and say, okay, I'm going to come play. You know, I mean, it's got to be well organized. And one thing I did, I'm trying to make it very important, is to do it right. I don't want to fly far to work with people that really are not organized or
for sure, man.
You know, so I want to take my time. I'm talking to a few people already in South America. I've been getting invited for the past 3-4 years, to be honest.
Man, one question that I want to do for you.
Yes.
There's a video on YouTube, and you and Dead Days. Sorry about speak about Dead Days, but you were in Cuba. We're in Cuba with them.
Yes. Yeah, well, we were in Cuba.
How was this experience? Because it's a closed country, politically
speaking.
Yeah. Well, let's just say we were touring the U.S. and a conversation came up, and I don't know if you know this, but Daryl Jones, the bass player for the Rolling Stones.
I know his.
Yeah.
Amazing. I've been a fan of his, and he's a friend now. I can call him a friend. He's a dear person and a great human being. Really a big heart, the sweetest cat you'll ever meet. He was touring with the Dead Daisies one time when the Dead Daisies were opening up for Black Star Riders, which is the band that came out of Thin Lizzy. So they were supporting me. I was already part of the Dead Daisies. I had given my commitment, but I had like 8 shows to do in the UK to finish my commitment with Black Star Riders. And Dead Daisies happened to be opening up. So we all got together. We would travel together and all that. And the question came up from management and from David Lowy, our founder, if there was a place that you would play around the planet, where would you want to play? And I got to give him credit because he's the one that came up. I would love to go to Cuba. And I heard it and I'm going, yeah, great idea. Me, for example, him being American from the U.S., it's been almost impossible to go there unless you go through other areas and whatever. But me, being Mexicano Americano, I'm a U.S. citizen, I couldn't make it there with my U.S. passport.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
I have played with countless Cuban artists here in L.A. that live here now.
Okay.
I have projects that are Latin salsa, the clave and the tumbado. And, some of my favorite artists are Latino artists, salseros and tumberos and congueros and timbaleros. And I have had the opportunity to play with some of the best Cuban artists that are living in the U.S. now. So it's always been something in the back of my mind. I'm going, wow, I would love to go there. So anyway, long story short, before you know it, management gets in touch with us and says, there's an opportunity to go to Cuba. Who wants to go? And I was there, yes. And Daryl was there, yes. And Richard Fortas was there, yes. Brian Tishy was yes. Everybody, Brian and Tishy Reed, everybody was like, let's go. We have a problem. What is the problem? John Stevens, who had gotten into a little bit of trouble, who lives in Australia, couldn't go and was considering moving on and moving away from the Dead Daisies. He had other things cooking, his solo career, and it was amazing. That cat, you gotta listen to him, John Stevens, when you get a chance. Great music, great singer, amazing. So that's the only issue. So what do we do? And then everybody started putting our heads together, and I get a call from management saying, Marco, what can we do? Who are the singers we can take? So Bernard Fowler, who is the background singer for the Rolling Stones, is a friend of Daryl Jones, and I knew him, and we all knew him. He's an amazing singer. Mm-hmm. He was available. And then I called John Corabi.
Good choice. It's a good choice.
I know.
Best choice. The best choice.
And to be honest, John is fallen into this column, this group of people that sometimes don't answer the phones. That's just how it is in the U.S. anymore. Like I have a lot of friends, big names that I can call and they'll never answer. But if I text or email, they might hit me back. But this is important, and we needed to hear right away. Then management calls me, tells me, I think John Stevens wants to bail. So we're going to use this as an audition for the next singer, to find the next singer for the Dead Daisies. Because we have a tour with Kiss scheduled.
Yeah. We
have studio time booked in Sydney. We have this, we have that. We don't have a singer. And I'm going, So we all did what we could. Long story short, again, Corabi hits me back within 2 hours. I was really surprised. He said, what's going on, Marco? Hey, bro, it's been a long time. He lives in Nashville now. And I explained. I told him, we got this band, man. It's a killer band. The players are amazing. It'll blow your mind. The music is amazing. And we are going to Cuba. And we need you to consider coming out and maybe making that somewhat of a, got to let management know what you do and who you are and all that. And so let me think about it. The next day he calls us, all right, I checked it out. Let's go do it. There's no commitment, there's no nothing. Let's just do Cuba. So long story short, we ended up in Cuba. We rehearsed for 2 days. We documented the whole thing. There's a documentary out there, a 22-minute long film. Check it out. It's very cool. And for me, it was one of my bucket lists. I wrote it out, I always go to Cuba. I grew up in Mexico, like you guys growing up in Brazil.
Yes.
I grew up with rhythm in my heart, in my blood.
For
sure. It's something I live with. I grew up at. For example, tumbado, bayón, la bossa nova, la samba, etc., etc. I was a big fan of music and Afro-Cuban rhythms. So I'm having a blast because there's music on the streets, like in Rio, like in Rio and Sao Paulo, more so in Rio.
Yeah.
So I'm having a blast. I was smoking stogies. I used to sneak the cigars from Spain and Canada, the Cohibas and Montecristos. So I'm like, cigars. I'm having a blast, and then having the time of my life with the guys. I got to know Daryl close and personal, one-on-one, and he was a sweetheart. He was such a great cat, man. His playing, of course, is Daryl Jones, and so we shared bass duties, and I sang a little bit. I did some backgrounds, I played some percussions, and he would come and play, and it was just a great experience, man. And it was a bunch of cats that love playing music in a beautiful country, a country that was hungry and thirsty for the connection.
Yeah, for
to
sure.
the U.S., the rest of the world. So we came in. I had no idea what to expect. But I got to say, when we left, I left a better human being, a better musician. I got to appreciate again what a gift it is to be doing music, man, for a living. We're very lucky. This is what we do. This is how we raise our family. This is how I send my kids to school. This is how we play music. All of a sudden, I realized, wow. I am a very gifted person, and the gift comes from above. I'm the channel for that, I'm the vehicle for that. So I walked away from Cuba feeling my glass was full again. I was like spiritually, emotionally. I had a smile on my face for a month, and then we saw the documentary. I helped with management a little bit because I speak fluent Spanish. So I ended up translating a lot, and helping around a lot, which is what I do. I'm a people person anyway. I love to do that. So that's how that happened, bro. And in turn, we came home. We had studio time booked like a few weeks after we got home. And we started talking, and everybody was impressed with John, like I knew they would be. And we all knew each other. We knew of him. We knew the time with Motley Crue. We know, he's a songwriter. John's a songwriter. He's been writing songs all his life. He's a front man. He's a great singer. He's got that voice that just...
That voice is great, man. The voice is great.
And he is the funniest cat on the planet.
Yeah.
So he had us all up in stitches. The whole experience was great. Bernard Fowler blew it out of the water. Another amazing singer and another great cat. I mean, not to take anything away from him, but he's got this little job with the Rolling Stones. and we saw some possible issues there in the future. So, because at one point, I think it was considered, why don't we take both? Wouldn't that be cool? Let's take both cats, and we were right, because maybe 2 months later, they were out with the Rolling Stones. And we don't want to take credit for this. We shouldn't. But let's just say that Bernard Fowler and Daryl Jones from the Rolling Stones planted the seed with Mick Jagger and Ronnie and Richards, and the boys to come to Cuba. And they ended, and if you remember, they ended up going there a few years later.
Yeah.
And of course, it became, you know, part of history, you know.
Yeah.
But so it was all good. A lot of good stuff came out of it, and we went straight into the studio to do Revolución, which is the title that came up from our experience in Cuba, because everywhere you go in Cuba is Fidel Castro, Revolución, Viva la Revolución, Viva la Revolución, Viva la Revolución. I had Viva La Rock in my brain. Viva La Rock, Viva La Rock, Viva La Rock. Boom. You know, 5 years later, Viva La Rock.
Yeah.
So celebrating life, celebrating music, passion, fire, you know, love.
Yeah.
Man,
And I need to tell you, man, because I think you deserve all of these things, because you are a great musician, and you sing very well as well. So, and your music and everything. So you deserve everything with your solo career. Also, I like a lot the Dead Days too. So. But your solo album is really nice.
Muito obrigado.
And I
spread the word. I will send some. I don't know if you bought it already. If you got it, it's available everywhere. Download it if you can. But it would be great if you could play some of the songs on this interview.
Sure.
We could talk about.
Okay, for sure.
I would really appreciate it. You know.
Yeah, sure.
For those of you that like the harder stuff, the heavier stuff, because I have that, there's a song called Rocket Man.
Rocket Man is the best song for me in the whole album.
Because it's heavier, you know. It's
heavier, yeah, man, yeah.
The only thing that I'm not doing is going to... But there's a story there, you know. And the story is, when I was in Copenhagen, the scientist, this... self-made scientist who had some problems, psychological problems, had built a submarine and used to cruise around Copenhagen and used to invite the girls. He was single, and he became a bit of a personality for years and years and years. And he had a reputation for being a woman's man, and he had all kinds of girlfriends and all. And the attraction was, part of it is that he would invite you to have dinner in his submarine and go under and cruise around Copenhagen. And one day, this journalist from Sweden wanted to do an interview and wanted to experience this whole thing. And he said, "Yes, of course, come down." And she disappeared.
Yeah, I know there's a story. Yeah,
it's pretty heavy, pretty dark. Yeah. And the submarine sank, and all of a sudden, she's saying, you know, she went home and all that. So anyway, they caught him. He killed her.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get away from that story. Everywhere I went for 2 or 3 days, it was all about. And the media had called them. They put, you know how they come up with names, right? Rocket Man. So they called him Rocket Man.
Yeah.
They that name on him, and all of a sudden, Rocket Man this and Rocket Man CNN and CNBC and CBS. And, I mean, all the channels on TV, radio, everything was about the Rocket Man, and they found out that he had killed him.
Yeah.
I got to the studio and I said, "Soren, this is pretty dark, man, but I've got the lyrics, man. It's in my head. It's in my heart. You know, music sometimes it's good to touch on the other side of life. You know, the reality. The reality in our world. There's light and then there's darkness. You know, and to be able to touch up both is when you're on the creative mode. It shouldn't matter because that's part of reality. So we went, and again, the song happened like that, and the riff. Soren came up with it's heavy, and the lyrics, I'm just going and going, and it was quick. And we're possibly going to be part of the movie. We're looking at that because they love the song.
Cool. Great.
There's a few movies brewing, one here in Hollywood, one in Denmark, and we're pitching, check the song. So if it is, it'll be good. But it was fun making it, The hard part is going to be doing the video, because I really want to do a video on that one, but we have to be extremely careful, I don't want it to be, wanted to touch on the dark side, but bring it back to, there's a lot of positive things going on as well. So I don't want to get too gory and all that, but the story was pretty heavy, pretty.
Yeah,
heavy.
for sure. And you recorded some covers in this album, right? Yeah. So, did you used to play the songs in the concert? And because you play with them, right? With Thin Lizzy and Ted Nugent. So,
yeah.
I'm asking about the choice to record these songs.
Well, I was in the studio again, and I wanted to pay tribute to. I was talking to Thin Lizzy, the camp. They were calling me to possibly work with them this year in 19. And remember, this was in 17 when we were in the studio. And, I had spent a little over 20 years with Thin Lizzy in and out. So the songs were imprinted in my brain, in my DNA. They became part of, it's a great catalog, great songs. Thin Lizzy is one of the greatest bands ever,
Yeah, for sure.
Period. They influenced and inspired so many bands that came after.
Yeah, that's true.
So when I got the call to audition to go meet the boys, I delved myself into the catalog heavy, and I found all these amazing songs. And I wanted to pay tribute to where I've been, my career, because I've had one of those careers that's just stupid, amazing, and I'm aware of it, and I'm very grateful for it. I don't say it in a boastful way. I no estoy presumiendo. I say it in a very realistic, humble way. It's like, wow, amazing. When I look back,
yeah, that's true.
And Chinatown had been a song that I've been playing live from time to time, because people that come to my shows, they want to hear something.
Yeah.
And I try to stay away from the hits, the songs that we all know, like Break, Dancing in the Moonlight.
Yeah.
Still in Love with You, A Black Rose, Emerald, the big songs. So I play Chinatown, and they love it, and all the players, my guitar players, they end up working with me, and the drummers, they love to play it.
Sure.
So I said, guys, and the drummer was there, Morton, recording, and Soren and myself, guys, let's just do this Chinatown, see what happens. You want to do it? Yeah. You know what? Of course. I remember, yeah, of course. We did 1-2 passes, and that was it. We recorded it. I sang it live, and we heard it back, and I'm going, why not? Let's pay tribute to Thin Lizzy. And then it opened the door to another song that I've been doing live, Hey Baby, which is paying tribute to one of the biggest rockers of our time, whether people agree or not, Ted Nugent, in the U.S. He's another guy that's been inspirational and influential in the guitar playing world, in the rock and roll, the history of rock and roll in the U.S. since the early 60s, man. Mm-hmm. So it was just my little way of saying thank you so much. Thanks for the memories. Thanks for the time. I really appreciate it. Something I will never forget. And we played it live. We recorded it live. You can hear it, and sang it. And that was it. That we kept it. So whether we realize it or not, these bands have been part of music history, rock and roll history.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been very, very lucky. And I could go down the list. So many artists that I've worked with. Whitesnake being one of them, of course. And working with George Lynch, working with John Sykes, Blue Murder.
Yes.
And on and on and on. Bill Ward from Black Sabbath.
Yes, man. That's another question, because you played with many great musicians and drummers, and there is someone else that you would like to play with, and you didn't have a chance already, or?
Yes, there's
with
so
me,
many.
With me, I'm a drummer, man. With me.
Yeah, there's so much. There's so many cats, man. People that I've met, and people that I've ended up working with indirectly via recording or, playing the festival. Sometimes you meet everybody, I would have to say, with my time with Whitesnake and David Coverdale, I met Jimmy Page.
Yeah, fuck.
And I'm in the back of my mind, I'm going, what if all of a sudden he just thought of me as playing bass on one song, and he would call me. I'm like, wow. So on and on and on and on. I mean, there's so many great players and singers out there, and bands, Imagine working with Jimmy Page and Robert Plant. That, and I mean, if you ask my imagination could just go and go and go and go. Would love to have a chance to do something with Bill Ward, given the opportunity, and so on. But and Daryl, if Daryl, for example, for some reason couldn't show up for the Stones, and I was one of the guys that he thought about. Of course, we're just imagining. This is conjecture, we're not. We're not saying this is going to happen, but think about those things, and imagine, getting a call, Marco, I'm tied up, or I can't do something. Can you cover for me? I'm like, wow, with the Stones, imagine. Paul McCartney, absolutely. I have some friends playing there, and the band sounds amazing. I've been a fan forever. I could go on. This could be an hour interview.
Yeah, for sure.
Indirectly, I've been working with Neil Sean and Greg Raleigh, and working with those cats. Again, it was such a pleasure and such a great experience. The catalog of music at Journey, the earlier days, the earlier music. Great experience with Dean Casanova playing and singing amazingly. Wow. And now Greg is on the road with Ringo Starr, So there's a lot of connections everywhere, and it's happened to me before, and I'm always open. I never say never, Where you get the calls, I got the call directly from David Coverdale, called me directly, and Ted Nugent called me directly, and I had a little possible thing with David Lee Roth back when, and then in the mid '90s, late '90s, when he was going to go out again as a solo, and he wanted some players, So it's endless, man. The list is endless, So many guests. On the other hand, believe it or not, I would love to go to Brazil and play with some of the artists down there, the big ones, I mean, for me, Carlos Jobim, forget about it. Believe it or not, I mean, the music he wrote, the legacy he left, and the mark he left in music history here in the U.S. Asian music, and so many artists down there too, So the list is endless. So many cats that I would love to, and you never know. If I stay healthy and I'm around.
That's true. That's true. And you have talent to play with everybody, man. I saw you playing on YouTube. You playing with Billy Sheehan. It was a kind of a talk show or something like that.
Oh yeah. This is a NAMM show thing. They called me and he said, "We're doing this. We're shooting something different. We want to do artists with artists and artists interviewing artists and a mutual thing." And I've been a fan of his forever. I mean, he's unbelievable what he does on the bass.
But you guys playing together, it's not for everybody to play with Billy Sheehan. You guys jamming together, man. It was amazing.
And it was all spontaneous. I haven't seen it lately. I gotta go check it. I never saw it. Let me be honest. But the feedback was great. People loved it because it was all spontaneous. And I am, he's just one of those those bass players that kind of opened so many doors, you know. A pioneer of sorts for bass playing. And his ability is just uncanny. It's like, wow, mind blowing. So I had to I had to kind of bring the bass player fan part of me down a little bit so we could talk. Otherwise, I'd be like, wow.
Yeah.
And to my surprise, he, he returned. He was interested in who I was and what I did and all that too. So it was fun. It was great, man. I'd love to do that with so many cats. Just to sit with guitar players and singers and just goof around and capture 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to see what happens. That's a good concept, actually.
Yes. Just so you know, I am a bass player also, so I am like that, man. Talking to you, speaking to you right now.
Oh, thank you. Well, we all do what we do, and we bring what we bring to music, and some of us have been luckier sometimes, and we've been in the right place at the right time. But it never fails me when I go hear a band. I always learn so much. I'm like a sponge. I'm like taking good stuff, and I can notice the stuff that's not working, so I keep that as well. I'm going, okay, that doesn't work. Let's archive that, put it. That's working. Oh wow, maybe I can try something like that, and so on and so forth. So music is like that. I think when we share with each other, we learn the good things and the things that don't work necessarily don't work. And a big part of me is, and then I want to please the audience. I'm a big part of me is an entertainer. I want them to leave my shows going, that was so much fun. He was funny. He was entertaining. He sang good. The songs are great. I had a great time, and walk away with a smile on their face, a little bit of sunshine in their heart. You know what I mean? Because I believe music, without getting too deep into the topic, but I think, music can be, there's a lot of healing factors in music that we don't understand. It speaks to us in a different level, and instinctively we feel it. You know what I'm saying? When I go hear a band that's having a great time on stage, I walk away. Wow.
Yeah, I saw you guys playing in New York. You playing with the Dead Daisies in New York once, and it's like that. Sorry.
What venue? The ballroom, the last gig.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot of fun up there because there's a lot of mutual respect, and we all, I worked individually. I worked with Dean Casanova in the studio and live for years. We did a lot of albums. With Doug, of course, I worked with him forever. He's a friend and a brother, and also Dean is as well. With John, we were in album number 4, so we had spent time on the road in the studio. And it's great to have a team of cats that you love playing with and that you respect, to know that they're going to take care of business and then take it out live when the music is jumping and the songs are good and everything. It's just fun on stage. It turns into a bit of a fun circus. And when all the factors are in place, it's just so much pleasure. You don't want it to end. So much that we start doing more and more and more shows. So
that's true. When you like what you do, that's it, man.
That's it, bro.
That's it.
I saw a show in YouTube, a Woodstock show in Poland, maybe in Poland, in Poland. That with Dead Daisies, the crowd was amazing and the show was amazing.
The concert for peace in Poland at Woodstock, they call it
Woodstock.
And we had a 60-piece orchestra.
Yeah, we did an orchestra. Yeah.
And we covered songs like "Give Peace a Chance."
Yeah, "Keep a Rockin' on Free World."
Yeah, "People Rockin' Free World."
Highway Star.
What a Wonderful World, Louis Armstrong, and It was such a blast, man. We
Yeah,
rehearsed
Highway Star too.
Yes, I was Star. That's right.
Let it be.
Hmm.
Let it be, maybe let it be.
Exactly. That's documented. I think we played. I think somebody said there was like in the whole attendance of the festival, there was going to be like 400,000 people, and we had
Wow,
like
it was amazing, that show.
we had like 250,000 people in the audience.
Fuck.
I don't know if you remember when they brought the white flag.
Yeah, I can remember, man.
This massive
Yeah.
white flag that covered the whole audience. The audience
The audience. Yeah.
and the whole audience, imagine 200,000+ people covered in a big white flag piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he started waving it, and we were playing "Let It Be" and
Let It Be.
"Give It a Chance" and "What a Beautiful World" and more chill.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
So yeah, man, it's great experiences like that, and then they're documented. There's video on it, there's recordings, and there's talks about releasing it as well. But that's management's job, you know. So well, it's all good, man. We've had some amazing experiences, you know.
I would like to ask you, what the feeling for the man who is playing and see the black that white flag in the crowd? That it must be amazing.
Yeah. We started looking at each other, going, "This is wow." Yeah. I want to ask you guys, can we continue this in about half an hour, or do it another day and continue, maybe part 2?
Sure. Can I ask you just one more thing, Marco, to say something to the Brazilian fans?
Yes. What do you want?
Yes.
Well, I just want to say, Brazil, los adoro, los quiero mucho. Marco Mendoza here. I've been aware of all your love and all your support that's been coming my way for years, and I just can't wait to make it down there. Hopefully soon with Viva La Rock, my solo project, and saudade, Brasil.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much.